Warner Brothers, Rocksteady, and Nvidia all knew that Batman Arkham Knight was a mess on the computer a year before it released. Weekly vlog number 17. So yeah, apparently news came out saying that Warner Brothers and Rocksteady both knew that the game was going to be messed up before it ever released, because it was just as buggy a year ago as it was when it released, and kind of explains why it got removed from Steam for being so buggy that it was basically broken. Nvidia also knew, but they further pushed this issue into kind of a shady, very, very bad area, because they showed a trailer of it showing all their Nvidia crap that they use and made the video 60 frames per second and everything, but the game actually only runs at 30 frames per second before any patches and everything, and that's if you don't edit the configuration file to actually increase that limit to 60. So I kind of expected the game to run like shit just because Arkham Origins ran like shit, but they were also developed by different people. Batman Arkham Origins was not developed by Rocksteady. The first and second Batman games, so Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, I think were developed by Rocksteady. Those ran pretty good, though I heard that they also apparently ran really badly on their initial release on computer, but I don't know. I did play both of those on computer, but it was a while after they released, so if there was any issue, then it was already patched by the time I played, and I didn't have any issues with those. But I'm not really surprised, even though it is Rocksteady, mostly because it's still Warner Brothers, and they pretty much just came out and said they're not going to fix any problems on Arkham Origins anymore, and they're just going to work on DLC. So if they're pretty much at an area where they're telling people who bought Arkham Origins to fuck off, then obviously you can see why I'm not surprised that Arkham Knight isn't polished and why it is all fucked and everything. So aside from the whole Batman Arkham Knight bullshit that's been going on, there has been some stuff that actually happened here, and I keep looking down because of this notepad here. So my niece ended up getting bit by my dad's dog, and what happened, it was a complete accident. My dad's dog didn't realize that it was my niece and that she was okay where she was and everything. So what happened is my dad was in the other room on the computer and everything. My mom wasn't home. She actually was with both of my nieces, and they got home, and the older of the two nieces came in the house before everyone else did, and she managed to sneak in really quietly or something, and my dad's dog didn't realize that, so she got a little close, and I guess what happened is he freaked out, kind of got scared, thought she was an intruder or something, and he turned around, just jumped up, pinned her to the ground, and bit her on the face. But as soon as he did that, and as soon as she started screaming, he jumped back off and just ran into the other room, and he knew he did something wrong. So he was obviously just scared. He didn't realize who he was attacking or anything until after he attacked. So that wasn't all that good. She does have some stitches in her face. It's not super bad. It's not like some chunk was ripped off or anything. It was just it looks like she probably has a cut around like that. Probably just a couple cuts. I can't really tell all that much because I didn't see her before she got the stitches and band-aids on her face because I was asleep at that time. So she is kind of messed up there. She also has her leg scratched a little bit, but that's pretty much it. And she isn't afraid of Max or anything. She isn't holding it against him. She isn't angry at him or anything. She seemed to know that he mistook her for someone else and said that right away because she was scared that he was going to have something happen to him because he attacked. As for news on my channel and the progress towards getting playthroughs returned, yes, I finally got a laptop ordered. I managed to get it ordered early, as I mentioned on Twitter and Facebook, because actually I didn't have to pay my phone bill or internet bill this month because my mom's doing that instead, because we share internet bill and we share phone bill, and there's some stupid bank fee, service charge for the bank, which is completely retarded because they take fractions of cents for every transaction that occurs and currency exchanges anyways, so I don't know why they need a service fee, but because that's $7 and I technically have to pay twice because my mom is my rep payee, so rep payee count service charge, it's $6.95, whatever, basically $7 because it's over 50 cents over. Yeah, you round up if it's halfway, but because she apparently missed paying for those fees a few times while my computer was dead and I was skipping rent, she decided to just let me skip a couple bills and she would pay for them herself because she normally pays for those fees for me because I really don't have a whole lot of money anyways, and those are kind of retarded fees, and it kind of pissed me off that I had to pay those anyways, especially the rep payee account. For SSI, most of the time you actually need a rep payee. It's possible they would have made me have a rep payee anyways, just because SSI, even though I don't really need one, I didn't really care, so I ended up getting one. Because I didn't care. I don't need a rep payee though. My mom would even agree with me on that because I just tell her where to put the money each month and I deal with my money on my own. I deal with all my bills and everything. So it's not like I'm incompetent with handling money. I just didn't really give a shit. So I was able to get the new laptop, and on top of that, I was also able to get a wireless keyboard and mouse. I use a single USB plug. So with that wireless keyboard and mouse, I will actually be able to use the damn thing, just set it aside somewhere, plug in for its HDMI out to my other monitor. So when I'm recording the game on my gaming computer, I can use my laptop to record my audio, and that'll be kind of cool. It is not here yet. I did order it. I don't know when it's going to be here. It's probably going to be here within a week or so. FedEx has it listed to be here on the 11th, which kind of sucks. Hopefully it's here earlier than that. Either way, I also need to wait for the keyboard and mouse as well. Those should probably be here around the same time. And then obviously I'll have to get batteries to replace the ones that come with it in a few months, but I don't really have to worry about replacing the batteries or getting batteries for it anytime soon. And batteries are kind of cheap anyways. You can get a Duracell Pro Cell on Amazon for about $10 for a pack of 24, and those Pro Cells, that's what I've actually been getting whenever I bought batteries. Those are actually really, really good. They last a long time. Whenever I used it in a flashlight or something, the light was about twice as bright as this regular crappy store-bought ones you can get, so that's also kind of cool. So it'll actually be pretty easy to replace batteries in the mouse and keyboard, and it's not like I'm going to be using those a whole lot either, so even after those 3 months, I probably won't really need to replace them, but it's better to have those batteries around so I can actually use them if the ones in the keyboard and mouse actually happen to die at some point. And since they're cheap, then it's not really a big deal. I was also going to get a couple USB cables, but I decided I don't really need those because I have this little flash drive. So what I'm going to be doing with this flash drive is transferring the audio, the Audacity project file, over to my gaming computer after I'm done recording on my laptop. And I was going to use USB cables so I could use my small 2.5-inch external hard drive to do that transfer, but then I looked up and I remembered I had this little thing hanging from the shelf next to me. Right there. Still going to be a little weird. I probably need one more USB. I don't know. I'll look around. I might not end up using another USB. I probably have enough USB with me, but I do need to find a USB to power that external hard drive anyways, because I still need to use that for my AVerMedia. And I unplugged its USB already because I was going to be using that on the laptop in order to plug in the thumb drive very easily, just having it beside my stereo instead of having to get up and move over just a couple feet or something and try and squeeze it in there in the small area it's going to be in. It's going to be a pretty tight fit there, but it's not really going to be a huge deal. I'm not going to worry about that. So I'll just get an USB and extend that port out next month, or I'll see if I can actually get the little USB hub that I have to actually work properly. Also, since I did mention I'm going to be using HDMI out on the thing to bring the screen to my other monitor, I do not need to buy an HDMI cable. I actually do have an HDMI cable already, and I don't need to buy a switch or anything because I already have an HDMI switch, which I bought some while back, actually, when I didn't expect to have to buy this laptop, and I was hoping I'd actually be able to get playthroughs worked on and finally uploaded and stuff, because I think this is actually the month I originally wanted to get them uploaded, but I don't remember. So I don't know. They will be up next month though, unless something catastrophic happens to my laptop, but I doubt that's going to happen. It should be fine. And if you're curious about the specifications of the laptop, I'm using a Lenovo G50, and the link to it will be in the description. People are stupidly saying it's the G50-45, but it's not. I already looked at the G50-45. It's exactly what it is. And sorry if you hear some weird noise in the background. Someone's using a saw or something outside. But the laptop I'm getting is the G50 80E30181 US. So it's the US version of the 80E30181. And I don't remember if I just said Lenovo or Lenovo, but it's Lenovo. The specs of it has a 500 gig hard drive. It doesn't really need to have a huge hard drive. 500 gig is more than enough for what I'm going to be using it for. I would have settled, honestly, for a 320 gig because all I'm really going to be using it for is probably just looking around doing crap online if I happen to be in a game. Using it for Netflix instead of using my Blu-ray player because my Blu-ray player is old and the audio on a lot of stuff goes out of sync on Netflix, which kind of annoys the hell out of me. And of course, I'll be using it for the audio recording. It also has an AMD A8 6410 APU. So what is an APU? You may be wondering, that sounds weird. What's an APU? Is it like a CPU? Actually, yeah, it's kind of like a CPU, except it's also like a GPU. A GPU is a graphics processing unit, whereas a CPU is a central processing unit. So the CPU is the chip that goes onto the motherboard that you put into the motherboard. Regular operations get handled by. The GPU is actually on the graphics card. So what's an APU? If the CPU goes on the motherboard and the GPU goes on the graphics card, how does the APU work? Well, the APU goes onto the motherboard the same as the CPU, but it can actually process information the same as if it was a CPU and a GPU together, because there are two in that one chip. However, because they're together, it's a lot slower than using a CPU separate from a GPU. So dedicated CPU, dedicated GPU, faster. APU slower, but it's more universal in terms of basic household computer sizes being much, much smaller. So this laptop can be really thin and it will still have decent graphical capabilities. This is also going to be the first laptop I have ever owned and the first computer I've ever owned with Windows 8, even though Windows 8.1, Windows 8, whatever. I'll probably be updating it to Windows 10 eventually. I already did look for my internet security program that I use. I use Norton 360. So I did check for that, and apparently that's already supported on Windows 10. They just don't officially say it is yet because Windows 10 isn't actually officially released just yet. Unless it released already this month, I don't freaking know when it's releasing, but as soon as it is, if it is already or if it hasn't yet, as soon as Windows 10 is out completely, they said they're going to be making sure it's officially supported, and instead of just saying somewhere when you're looking for information about Windows 10 on their site. The same thing apparently goes for Audacity. So as soon as Windows 10 releases, I'll be looking up information on Audacity and Norton. As soon as those two programs, that's all I really need. As soon as those two are updated, I'm going to wait a few months, then I'll update that laptop to Windows 10. The laptop will actually be on Windows 10 before my gaming computer is, so I'll be able to get used to it before having to update to Windows 10 on my gaming computer. There's a lot more I want to make sure is up to date and working on Windows 10 on my gaming computer before I actually update this, though. I also want to make sure I'm through with a Skyrim playthrough on my gaming computer before I update to Windows 10, just so I know nothing goes wrong, and I'm going to have to check the installation location of a bunch of files just in case I have to do a clean installation of Windows 10 from Windows 7 instead of just doing an upgrade where it keeps all their stuff in the proper location. So I don't know if it's going to keep all the stuff in the proper location or not. I kind of want to just do a clean install, but I might not end up doing a clean install. Anyways, that is the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed it, feel free to let me know with a comment, like, subscribe, and or a share. And I'll see you guys next week or on some other video. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.